Hello, my name is Joshua Reese, and I work with FIU Online. And today I'll be taking you through a brief training on the iPeer tool. If you don't already have iPeer active in your course, it's a very simple process. We're just going to go to the Settings menu, and as a professor, you should have access to the settings in your course navigation menu. So once we're there, in the center at the very top is a navigation tab, and it'll have a lot of items here that are not added to our menu yet. And so here at the bottom, I have iPeer. If I click on these three dots, I can press the plus enable button. Now you can see it's in my list of included items. And let's go ahead and save that. So now we can see that iPeer has been added to our navigation menu, and we can continue setting up an iPeer evaluation. So the first thing you'll need to do, if you haven't already done it, is create your course in iPeer. It's a pretty quick process. You're going to click on the Courses tab, as you've seen me do. And right over here, we have a button that says Add Course Based on Canvas. This is the easiest way to do it. If you click on this button, you will get a list of basically all the courses you have access to. And you will just be scrolling through them until you find the specific course that we're looking for. In my case, it's this iPeer training course. You select that and you click Next. So as you can see, it filled out all of this information for me. If you have a TA or a grader, you could add them right here as an additional instructor, and then you would just click Save. I'm not going to do that because I already have my course created and it'll give me an error. But in your case, you would just click Save, and your course should appear in this list of courses. So now that we have the course created, we can go to the main dashboard and start importing our students. The first thing we'll need to do is scroll down, and we're going to find this option here that says Import Users from Canvas, and click on that. As you can see, there are some drop-down menus, and they're actually grayed out because we are doing this based on Canvas, and this Canvas course, or this iPeer course, is already integrated with my specific Canvas course. So I'm just going to click the Import button, and iPeer is going to do the rest for me. So as you can see, I have all of my students imported successfully. We have this green Import Successful banner, and it also lists the instructors. So you can verify all of your changes here. Once you have students in the course, now we can group them. So I'm going to use the groups that I already have created in Canvas. If you need help creating groups, you can always reach out to us, reach out to your instructional designer directly, and they'll be happy to help you with that process. So in my case, we have groups set up, and it's a group term project is the name of the Canvas group set, and I only have that one. But if you do, for some reason, have more than one group set, you'll need to make sure that you're choosing the correct one. And again, I'm just going to click Import, and iPeer is going to do the rest. So success, all groups and users have been imported. And that's the confirmation screen we're looking for. So the next thing we'll need to do is create a rubric, which can be done from the evaluation screen. So I'm going to click on the evaluation tab here, and I'm going to go to the rubric section, and we have a plus add rubric button. So let's click that. And I'm going to just do a quick demo here. We're going to review a rubric that I have already created, but this would be the steps necessary to create your own rubric. So you need to make sure that your rubric is publicly available. This is the only way you'll be able to select it for your evaluation event. If you leave this as private, no one's going to be able to see it. The 0 mark option allows you to leave a score of 0 as an option for one of the levels of mastery. If not, then the lowest score they can select would be a 1. And view mode I'm going to suggest that you always use student. The criteria mode is just visually confusing, and students are used to seeing things in a student-centered display mode. So for that reason, I suggest you always use student. So the next button will allow you to enter your criteria and levels of mastery here, and allow you also to adjust the weight for each of your criteria. So I'm going to go back and show you, as an example, a rubric that I've created. And I'm going to click here. This is my training rubric. And I'll show you an example of how the rubrics appear from the student side once they're actually doing their evaluation. So as you can see, all of the individual spaces have information filled out so the student knows exactly how they're assessing their peers. I recommend you develop your rubric thusly. You can always contact your ID if you have any questions. They'll be happy to help you with this process. Now we're ready to set up an evaluation event. This is the actual evaluation that students will be interacting with and performing their peer reviews. So from the main course dashboard, you can get there by selecting your course from the courses menu. I'm going to click on the Add Event option here. So from this page, we have some important options to take note. This drop-down menu by default will always show the course that you're using, that you're active in right now. But it's important to note that you can access all of your other iPeer courses from this menu. So please make sure that you're selecting the course you intend to use. Now we just give it a title and your description. From the template type, we are going to use Rubric. We're always going to use Rubric. These other functions, if you have any questions about them, I suggest talking to your ID. But for this use, for a peer review, we're only going to use Rubric. And this next drop-down box is a list of all of the rubrics that you have access to. Remember, I said we need to make our rubrics public. That also means that you can access anyone else in the institution's rubric. In our case, we're using this rubric, and we can preview it just to make sure, just to verify, yes, that's the rubric I want to use. And now these next few options. Self-evaluation, that's up to you. The students would be required to evaluate themselves if you enable this. Comments required is a very useful option. I always suggest using this. What it will do is it will require students to leave a comment for every student in general, and, well, not every student, all of their group mates in general, and it would also ask them to leave a comment on each criteria. So this will help combat grade inflation because students won't just quickly give everybody a 5 out of 5. If they're required to input some text, at least it'll slow them down and maybe they'll be a bit more engaged with the activity. Auto release results, this is up to you, whichever most benefits your course. Typically, you're going to enable this just because it makes it an automatic process. And then student result mode, I find that most professors use basic. If you use detailed, it'll show all of the students' grades and the comments. This will take away any anonymity that you're able to use from the basic mode. So if you need anonymous peer reviews, then you're going to be using basic. These next options are just dates. These are very straightforward. The due date is when it's going to be due. And the evaluation release, this is when students actually have access to the rubric or to the event. So that's going to be, so we can just do this. The results released from, that's just as it sounds. This is when the results are pushed out to students. And that's always going to be after the due date. So you can also enable an email reminder. The evaluation reminder template is a great place to start. You really don't need to do any adjustment to that. If we preview this, we can see that we have all of these script here, which are autofill. Essentially, Canvas will fill in the student's first name, your course name, and then all of this date related information automatically. And you can set it to send out this email every day, every 3 days, and it'll only send the email to students who have not yet submitted the assignment. And lastly, we need to make sure that we are selecting all of our groups. This is a very important step. If you miss this, nobody will be assigned to this evaluation. You can also add a late penalty, and it functions exactly how it seems. For every 1 day, you can add X amount %, and that's very straightforward. So once we have all of our options chosen, I'm going to submit. And as you can see, I have another peer evaluation set up. Lastly, let's talk about results. So once your evaluation event has started and students begin submitting their evaluations, or once it's concluded and you're ready to review your results, you can come to your course dashboard and scroll down to here, this option, List Evaluation Events. And you can see it lists all the events for this specific training course. And in this table, we have a results tab. Now, keep in mind, this is just a demo course. I don't have actual students in here, so we don't have any results from this course. But I do have an example I can show you with the students' names being redacted. But this is an example of one student's evaluation on a couple of their group members. So as you can see, this professor required comments, and the student actually left a comment for each individual criterion. This is a great example of what happens when you do require comments. It requires students to slow down and give a bit more thought to this activity. So the last step typically is to push the grades to Canvas once everything is in. So from the results page, we see this button here. This is Push Grades to Canvas. And all you need to do is click that. You'll get this little disclaimer. And as it says, it's going to create an assignment. So that's how it's going to tie into the Canvas gradebook, is through that an assignment. And the assignment column will be hidden upon creation. So just click the Export button, and Canvas, as well as iPeer, will do the rest. Thank you for watching my training on iPeer. If you have any questions at all about integrating iPeer or using it within your course, please reach out to your ID. They'll be happy to walk you step by step through the entire process. Thank you. Have a great day.